Hey everyone, so I just got off work. I got the chicken in the cooker. We're going to be doing another meal from the Great Depression. Hope your weekend was wonderful, and as soon as that chicken's done, we will be right back and we will cook a meal out of the book, and I'm actually going to show which book I'm using today. I ended up ordering a paper copy. So we'll be back soon. Okay, so the chicken is done cooking, but while I was waiting for that to cook, I went ahead and did the salads. So I still need to debone the chicken, and I need to make the dumplings. So the cookbook, because I've got several of them that I downloaded the PDF onto my phone and to my computer. But this one, I went ahead and ordered the actual book. I downloaded this one, but I wanted the actual book just so I could kind of refer to it. I found it really interesting, and this one's called Depression Era Recipes by Patricia R. Wagner. And it's got some pretty cool little stories in it as well. As a matter of fact, there's a poem when you first open it, and it says, "There's a new moon tonight, and so I wonder if you will see it, and if it will start some vague regret for all the crashing thunder of bitter phrases rooted from the heart. It is not strange when pride has cooled down, how one can miss a glance, a touch of a hand, and how the timid boy that we ruled down can raise his havoc with the peace we planned. How do you spend your time? Are you pursuing the fevered lures that help you forget? Or like a certain lad, are you renewing your joys with grief through nights so black? There's a new moon tonight, perhaps you'll see its radiance. Amuse a bit on me." And Don Juan wrote it in 1933. It says, "This poem was discovered in my father's dresser, the one with the treasures in it. Shortly after his death on April 1st, 1989, Dad apparently was impressed by this hope poem inspired, as he kept it under lock and key all these years." So the one that I'm doing is actually, I did change a little bit as far as how it was cooked, because I did the chicken in that just because I was so pressed for time today. But it's a chicken pot pie, but it's definitely a lot different than the chicken pot pie that we are used to eating. And this one actually not only calls for one whole chicken, but it calls for 1/4 pound of pork. Now, as it is, we're going to have a bunch of leftovers to eat throughout the week. So I only did the chicken. I left out the pork. And it just says seasonings, so you get to pick whatever seasonings. So now I'm going to do the dumplings, and then while I debone the chicken, I'll just put the dumplings back in here and cook them. So it calls for 1½ cups of flour, there's half, 1 and half. I'm going to be a mess by the time this is over. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. There's 1 and 1/2. Okay, so then you basically are just going to stir these together, and it says milk, just enough to mix a soft dough that will drop from a spoon. That's the instructions. So what I did is I went ahead and mixed up a cup of powdered milk. I guess I could have just used this fork, but oh well. So I'm not really sure how much. That was 1/4 cup that I put in so far. So this makes a 1/2 cup. This actually needs a spoon. Okay, soft dough that will drop from the spoon. Okay, so it ended up being about 3/4 cup. Okay, and this is still hot from the chicken, and the broth is in there from making the chicken. So I'm going to, because then from after we're done making this, then you have to turn the broth into gravy. So I'm going to okay, so I'm just going to drop them in there. And then I just did a basic side salad. Now, for your salads, because they ate a lot of vegetables, but most people then, you know, they have gardens and stuff. But for your salads, don't throw away your peelings from like your carrots or the tops of your bell peppers, or, you know, the tops or bottoms of the tomatoes or anything like that, you know, your scraps. Don't throw those away. There's a couple things you can actually do with those. If you have chickens, you can feed them to your chickens. I actually keep a bucket on my counter for scraps. So if you have chickens, you can feed them to the chickens. If you don't have chickens, still don't throw them away. Put them in a Ziploc baggie and throw them in your freezer. Even your onion peels, any scraps that you have from vegetables, put them in a Ziploc baggie and throw them in your freezer. And then when you have about, I don't know, I usually wait till I have about 2 of the gallon size Ziplocs, and then I make a vegetable broth out of that. If you don't do pressure canning and you're not able to make vegetable broth, you can also put it in your compost. Okay, you can put it in your compost pile, but don't throw it away. And same with the chicken carcass. You know, after I take all the meat after I take all the chicken off of there, I'm not going to throw the bones away. What I'll do is I will save the chicken carcass, and I'll put it in a Ziploc baggie as well, to once I get, I don't know, usually about 2 or 3 chicken carcasses, then I will roast them in the oven and I will make chicken broth out of them. So, alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and get this deboned while the dumplings are making, and we will be back as soon as this part is done and do the next step on the gravy. The dumplings are finished, and I thought I was going to have to make the gravy separate, but it actually made the gravy. So, remember I said this is definitely not how we eat chicken pot pie now. So what it says is to pile the meat into the center of the serving dish. And I just used a poultry seasoning since it doesn't tell you what seasonings they used. But it says to pile the meat in the center of the dish. And they used chicken and pork. I just used chicken. So you do that, pile it in the center. Put the dumplings around it. And then top it with gravy. So then you just pour the gravy over it. And this is what they called chicken pot pie. I'll probably season this a little bit, and then that with the side salad. That is how they made chicken pot pie with a side salad during the Great Depression. And remember, don't throw your bones away. You can make chicken broth out of them. And actually, while I was deboning the chicken, the wishbone reminded me of when my kids were little. If I was deboning a chicken or a turkey, they would all fight over who got to have the wishbone. But anyway, so hope you all enjoyed this video, another meal from the Great Depression. If you're liking our videos, please subscribe to our channel. We'd greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to hit us up on Instagram. And remember, every day is a new beginning. Thank you so much and stay blessed.